Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another Soulful Saturday. I am your host, Jima Hill Cook with Kim G Counseling and Consulting, as well as the author of Reflections, What I Know to Be True, a 30-day devotional. Wow. We have reached the end of the month and we have talked about forgiveness this entire month. So please do me a favor and follow me on all things social at kimgforthesoul.com. Please like my YouTube channel at Kim G for the Soul as well. Follow me on TikTok, on Instagram at Kim G for the Soul. I am so thankful that you all have taken a little bit of time out of your Saturday to enjoy a little bit more with me in terms of forgiveness and what it means and how we can forgive ourselves on this journey, okay? So once again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your feedback, for sharing me with your friends and family, and also for your comments and your questions. And for those that have sent things relating to upcoming topics, I have one coming up for you in the month of August. So once again, welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Soulful Saturday. Well, as we close out the month of July, we have talked about forgiveness. I know for some of us that's been kind of a difficult topic. And as I stated before, please reach out to someone if you need to talk with someone and to get a little bit more help in terms of how to forgive yourself as well as forgive others. When we started, we talked about you defining what forgiveness meant to you. And I had asked you to come up with your own definition of forgiveness. And so just in case you hadn't got around to that as of yet, one definition that comes around forgiveness is that it is a conscious, deliberate decision. That means it's intentional. I think we talked about that a couple of weeks ago about it being intentional, right? And that it gives us the ability to release the feelings and resentment that we have, the anger that we may have towards someone or even towards ourselves. Or even towards a group of people that may have harmed us or something along that nature. And so what it does, and so it's a deliberate action. It frees us up however you choose to define forgiveness for yourself. And remember, I talked about there's certain things I do, like at the beginning of the year, I go back to my forgiveness journal and I kind of go through those names and I see if I've written down everybody's name and if I need to add something else that person may have did or didn't do. Feedback also said from some of you all that I don't need to write them down. I'm done with them. I know who they are, I know what they've done, and they're no longer part of my life. That's fine too. The goal is for you not to allow whatever that thing is to hold you back from being your best version of you and for being the best to you that you can possibly be. So you may not do a forgiveness journal. You may not. That's okay. But I want you to get into the habit of recognizing when the need to forgive and even the need to forgive yourself. And so we talked about self-forgiveness, and we talked about the need, last time we closed out, the need to show ourselves compassion, right? And to show ourselves kindness. We talked about silencing that inner critic, the one whose voice keeps trying to tell us what we need to do, don't need to do. You should be over something by now. That negative self-talk that we sometimes allow to come in that has an impact on how we do some of the things that we do. So recognizing when that negative self-talk is coming in and how it is having an impact on your behavior, how you're treating yourself, and how you're treating other people. One of the things I want you to think about as you're on your forgiveness journey, what are your expectations of yourself and the other person or people? What are your expectations? What do you want out of that? Do you want anything tangible? Because what we know to be true is that you can't go back and undo what was done. So what is it that you are looking for in your forgiveness? of yourself as well. What are you expecting out of you now, that you have forgiven yourself? Yeah, sit with that for a minute. What's the expectations of you right now? Okay? That's why it's so important that we do show ourselves compassion, and that we do show ourselves kindness, and that we do allow ourselves to take a moment. Remember, I also said that this is a journey. And so it's not we're flipping the switch and all things are forgiven and I'm well and I can just go on. I can see you and not even think about you. That will come in time, but that's not the first thing that happens, okay? And I don't want you to get a false sense of notion that everything is just gonna go and be rainbows and unicorns and all the things, because that's not how this journey works when it comes to forgiveness. Now, some people may say, oh, I was able to just do it and I was done with it. Well, you probably were able to do some other things too. You probably had some other things working for you that allowed you to do it that way. But for the rest of us, where it is not gonna be a one and done, I'm here for us, okay? I'm here for us. And so sometimes forgiveness is really not always about what someone did or what you did, but maybe what somebody didn't do or what you didn't do. Maybe somebody didn't protect you. Maybe someone didn't support you the way you needed to be supported. Maybe they didn't stand up for you and they allowed the lies to be spread about you. So it sometimes is what people didn't do that we have to forgive them for as well, including ourselves. When I didn't say no, when I wanted to say no, the need to forgive me for that and not continue to hold that over my head, okay? Some say that forgiveness, when we don't forgive, that it can hold us back, whether that's emotionally, whether that's spiritually. It gives someone else some kind of control over us. And so that's why it's so important that you define what forgiveness is for you. Whether it's a journal, whether it's writing a letter that you won't send, but you get that all those thoughts, feelings, and emotions, you get them out of you, right? So that you're no longer carrying it on the inside. Whether that is a complete, you no longer exist in my world, right? We've always talked about forgiveness does not mean access, does not mean that person gets to come back and assume the position that they had before. That's not what that means. Or that is what that means to you. Your decision, right? And that's the beauty of being on these journeys, is that it is personal. All our Soulful Saturdays will hit each of every last one of us a little bit different because of where you already are on some things you're already working on. So it's important that you give yourself permission to go through the steps. And this is going to be so important when we bring up what we're going to be talking about next month in terms of going through the steps. Also, there's this thing in forgiveness that's called the 4 phases of forgiveness. And one of them is called the uncovering phase. That's phase 1. Phase 2 is the decision phase. Phase 3 is the work phase. And then phase 4 is the deepening phase. Okay? So there are 4 phases that they say to forgiveness. The uncovering phase, that's where you get an understanding of the thing that happened to you, right? How did it impact your life? So you're uncovering that. The next one is the decision phase. This is where you're going to get a deeper understanding about what forgiveness is, and then you make the choice whether you want to do it or not. You get to make that decision, okay? That's on the decision phase. And then there's the work phase. And this is where you start to understand the person or the people or even yourself in a different way. You might see them differently. Not to say you excuse what they did, but you might have a different understanding as to their why. But not that that makes a difference. It doesn't. It just helps you do the healing. Because this is about you healing, not about them healing. They can heal how they need to heal. But this part is about how you're going to heal, right? So that's the work phase. And then the last phase is the deepening phase. And during that final phase, you decide where you're placing all that negative energy that you've been carrying, whether or not the injustice that was done to you, how you're going to experience life moving forward. So take some time to look through these phases of forgiveness. The uncovering phase, the decision phase, the work phase, and then the deepening phase. Okay? And so as we talk and end about forgiveness, my main point I want you to get is that forgiveness is important to you for your healing. That's it. For your healing. What do I say? My goal is to help you heal from the inside out. My goal is to help you, right? To be the best version of you that you can possibly be. And if we're holding on to things that is hindering us from being able to receive some other things that are better for us, then we need to release that the best way we can. So maybe you decide to write your own letter of forgiveness to yourself. I always say start with you, right? Start with you. So maybe you write a letter of forgiveness to you. What do you need to forgive you for? Yeah, we've talked about that all month. Self-forgiveness, what it means, how to do it, the steps it's taking, even in the 4 phases of forgiveness, the steps it's going to take to get you there, for your healing to happen, right? For you to begin to become the best version of you. Remember a while back I asked you about who am I? And then who am I becoming? Who am I going to be once I've let go the resentment and the anger and the ich I have, which is not clinical, but that's okay. The ick I have towards a person or people that may have done me wrong. I got to let it go. So I want you to understand that as you identify those things that you want, that you're ready to release, give yourself permission to do so. You can write it and then tear it up. You can write it and burn it up. You can do whatever you can sing. You can make a poem out of it. You can sing a song about it. Whatever it is, I want you to walk in your freedom of forgiveness of yourself and that of others. So I sincerely hope that as we close out this month of forgiveness, that you have found a way to forgive yourself and to forgive someone else. And also, the person that you need to ask, will they forgive you? Had we thought about that? Have we thought about anyone who we need to ask their forgiveness for? Is there anyone who's somewhere along may be holding something against you? Think about that. In your journal time, in your quiet time, is there anyone I need to ask for forgiveness from? Yeah. And it's okay. It's okay. That's what we're here for on these Soulful Saturdays. Is to ask ourselves some of the hard questions, to have some of those hard but necessary conversations, to give you the tools to be able to have those hard but necessary conversations, okay? So this Saturday, I'm hoping that you're out enjoying the weather. I hope it's beautiful where you are. It's not too hot. Maybe the sun came out and now you're out getting your car washed, or you're walking around the grocery store, or you're just at home. Maybe that's what you're doing in the midst of folding your laundry for the week, okay? But thank you so much for being here. Remember to follow me on all things social at Kimji for the Soul. And I am excited to announce something very, very special coming up next month. We are going to talk about grief and what it is and what it is not. So take some time, think about that. I'm also going to be starting a grief group as well. And there will be more information of that on my website at kimjiforthesoul.com. You'll find all the information you need about that, as well as where it would be, when it would be, and how long it would be, what the cost is. All of that will be there on kimjiforthesoul.com within the next couple of days, okay? So thank you so much for being here. Please like, share, follow, tell somebody about it, about these Soulful Saturdays. And I thank you so much for being here with me. I appreciate you. I adore you. And please, please, please remember, if you do nothing else, enjoy the view on this Soulful Saturday. Thank you so much. Have a great day.